Hey, hey guys. Hi Nabil. Hi Kira. Hi Saranshu. How are you? Have we got anyone else here? This is something a little bit different. We don't normally do these live sessions on YouTube, but we thought we'd give it a go and just see if you guys had any questions or anything you wanted to talk about relating to biology. Hey, Saranshu. Hi, Aria. Don't normally see you on a Friday. Oh, Saranshu, I wish you could join my lessons. Aria, did you get your hair done? What's it like? I need to be able to see you, Aria, so I can see your hair. I got my hair done as well. Looking a little bit blonder. Hey, goodness. How is everybody? Oh, all right, Aria. Oh, I hope it goes okay tomorrow. Hi, Sammy. Summer school. Yeah, did anyone else join me for summer school? Saranshu did. I remember Saranshu, you came to loads of lessons. You were like GCSE and A-level. Thanks, Kira. Oh, you missed the summer school lessons. Yeah, Kira, you need to join our course. Goodness, you were there as well. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed them. Yes, Flying Fanula. I'm not going to forget that name. I remember you. I remember you. Of course I do. Saranshu, remind me, are you actually in year 11? Because I know you joined quite a few year 12 lessons, didn't you, as well? But I think you were GCSE, you were year 11 maybe. Yeah, so the point of this stream, it is really for anyone, right? We're thinking we might do them on a weekly basis as kind of just like a drop in, catch up. How are we all getting on in school with biology? Have we got any questions? Is there anything you want to ask me? Yeah, of course it's fine, Chinwendu. Good to see you. So Chinwendu is in my year 13 course currently. Flying Fanula, I don't think you're in one of my courses currently, but you were in summer school, I remember. And Kira, I remember you from summer school as well. Kira, didn't you write me a really nice review? I seem to remember. You didn't get your exam boards in time. Issues with your timetable. Kira, what exam board are you doing? You're in year 9. We've got all the years here. We've got all the years here. Oh, Saranshu, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's not good, is it? Oh, guys. Explain triple science and combined science to you, please. Okay. I mean, guys in the chat could probably help you with that. Aria, you did triple science, right? So you could give a little bit of advice, but I'd say the difference really is if you do triple science, obviously you get 3 GCSEs. If you do combined science, you only get 2. If you want to do A-level science, then maybe triple science might be better, but most places you can still do A-level even if you've done combined. There's basically just a little bit more content in triple science. Not huge amounts more, but it is a little bit harder. Hey, Neil. Neil's always here to learn biology. He wants to switch from maths to biology. Aria, 776. Good grades. Well done. Guys, we're kind of here to talk about year 12, although we can kind of just talk about anything, to be honest, whatever you guys want to talk about. Yeah, he's fed up with maths. Fed up with maths. Wants to do a more wordy subject instead. Oh, oh, no worries, Aria. I'll see you next week anyway, Aria. Yeah, I'll see you on Monday. So, has anyone got any, like, how are we finding it so far? We've done a month now, haven't we, back in school? How are we finding it? Whatever year you're in, it doesn't matter. You can tell me. How are we finding biology? Is it our favourite subject? What free help do you offer, Laura? Well, we do loads on social media, don't we, Saranshu? So obviously you should be following all of the different pages. We've got TikTok, we've got Instagram. We post loads of exam questions that you can do along with us. And that goes for maths, biology, chemistry, physics, and English GCSE as well. And I think we're going to do these sessions each week. So we're kind of starting with year 12-ish today, but we can do GCSE ones as well, Suranshu, little drop-in ones. Oh, Aria, so you're not doing maths this year then, Aria? Sammy says you're loving year 12. Sammy, what topics have you done so far? What have you started with in year 12? Bio is your favorite A level. Of course. Of course it is. Goodness, what other A levels are you doing? You have a question, Kira, about your remark. You haven't got it back yet. Your head of science hasn't been in. Is there anyone else you can ask? Can you ask your biology teacher maybe? I would just ask someone at your school, just ask them what's going on with it. Or go, what's above head of science if you've got like an assistant head that you can ask. Or someone in the exams office. Bye, Aria. Kira says biology is obviously your favourite. Yes, obviously. No offence to Neil. Guys, I'm going to tell you something now. I actually started doing A-level maths. Maybe I shouldn't admit this, but I started doing A-level maths. I did it for a half term. So I did it up until October half term and I dropped it. I don't even know if Neil knows this, but I dropped it. It was too hard. I couldn't do it. To be fair, I don't think my teacher was the best. I had the best maths teacher for GCSE. Absolutely loved her. She was called Mrs. Lines. Big up Mrs. Lines. Got an A star in maths GCSE. Started doing it for A level and I just did not have a clue what the teacher was talking about. Did not understand any of it and had to drop it. Had to switch. But anyway, it's not done me any harm. Maybe Neil needs to teach me maths. The remarks take a while. Anyone else getting a paper remarked? So Sammy, you've done cell structure. Okay. So you're going in a little bit of a different order to the spec. I think, Sammy, it's quite interesting. A lot of schools start with cell structure because they think it's easier and they think that you'll like it more because you've done cells at GCSE. I always actually start with biological molecules because I prefer it personally. You'll like biological molecules. So goodness, biochem, psych and math. Good combo. So I did chem and psychology as well. Obviously bio was my fave. Your biology teacher is the head of science. Oh, okay. Oh, and she doesn't know. Have you got an exams office, Kira? Yeah, Aria, let me know. You can tell me on Monday how it goes, yeah? You did the root tip squash. Nice. That's a fun one. Did it actually work, Sammy? Did you see any chromosomes? Sometimes it just doesn't work and you can't see anything. What? Okay, so Chinwendu's got a question. Chinwendu is taking this seriously. This is what we like, Chinwendu. Why is the genetic code classed as non-overlapping? Shall we I've actually put some blank slides in case anyone actually had a biology question. So non-overlapping just means this. So you know how you have your bases, like just give you some examples. So you know how you have your bases like this. And at GCSE, we say 3 bases codes for 1 amino acid. So what we mean by non-overlapping is it's kind of basic, to be honest. I don't even know why we need to have a term for it, but AGT is read as one set of 3 and then TTT is read as the next set of 3. So you could say as a definition, each base is only part of one triplet or one codon. So you'd read it AGT space, if you like, TTT space, ACC. Like you can't read it AGT, TTT, TAC. It's non-overlapping. That's what it means. It's kind of obvious. Any other questions? Can you give me some advice for application questions and maths questions? Do you know what? They are the questions that we struggle with, aren't they? Like maths questions particularly, because it's not the maths that's hard in a biology maths question. It's just knowing exactly what maths you're supposed to do, because the maths is kind of hidden in a big block of text, right? And loads of information. So it's a bit different to A-level. Even A-level maths students will really struggle with maths in biology. My advice would be just practice as many questions as you can. So you need to access all the past papers. You need to find the maths questions and just have a go. And with the maths questions in biology, there's quite a lot of unit conversions. So always look at like the units that they've used in the question and the unit that they want you to give in your answer, because it's likely there's going to be a unit conversion somewhere. And sometimes students lose marks because they don't do the unit conversion, they forget to. Application questions, I mean, they can be quite bizarre, but they are usually based on something that you've learned. So when you're reading the question, try to think like, what topic is this about? Like, what topic are they probably trying to assess me on here? And then think back to what you know about that topic and try and apply something that you have learned to that random question. And again, Hasnan, it's really just doing as many practice questions as you can. It really is. And then it's exam technique, looking at the number of marks, as always, making sure you're using key scientific terms. Yeah, Monday, Kira, get straight down and ask her. You have 2 teachers for each subject. Yeah, a lot of schools do that goodness, don't they? So you're doing biological molecules with one and cells at the other. Yeah, one of the schools that I used to work in did the same thing. Like we'd split the course and I would always do the biological molecules because I loved that. And then a different teacher would do cells. But the last place that I worked in, actually, we just had one teacher. So I ended up teaching the whole course, which was good because I knew like exactly what the students knew and what they didn't. Sammy, you saw metaphase, anaphase and prophase. Wow, you obviously did a good root tip squash. Some good staining there, Sammy. So let's see what else we've got in the chat. The work my biology teacher left had a question about transportation in stems, but we haven't learned anything about that yet. Was that some lazy cover work that had been set there, Kira? If you write your GCSE knowledge, will you still get some marks? You might not, to be honest, Kira, but it's not your fault, is it? Because if you haven't covered that yet, how are you expected to answer that question? Later on in year 12, you'll do a lot about the xylem and the phloem as well, and you'll do it in a lot more depth than GCSE. So you might not have got any marks on those questions, but it's not your fault. Yeah, you need to learn about it first. Yeah, it's a lot more in depth, to be honest. You do about translocation and transpiration, but you learn about the actual mechanism. What are indicator species? So an indicator species is just a species that you can use to determine how polluted an area is, because some species will not grow if there's like a certain amount of sulfur dioxide in the air. They won't grow. So if you find that species growing there, Saranshu, then you know that the concentration of sulfur dioxide is low, basically. So ecologists they look for these species to give them an indication as to how polluted maybe the air is. So it's all linked to pollution. In the magnification question, should we measure from inside or outside the line? That's a very specific question. What do you mean? So hopefully the lines are quite thin. So I would just go from like the center. I would go from the center of the lines. Hopefully the line is just a single thin line, yeah? So it should line up really nicely with one of the intervals on the ruler and just go from the line to the line. Like, you're not going to see a scale bar, are you, like this? You're not going to see a scale bar like that, so it shouldn't be confusing. Two biology teachers, two chemistry teachers. You've got another question. Biomass, why is it good to dry something? Chinwendu, the true definition of biomass, yeah, the mass of organic material, it should not include water, because water is not classed as organic matter. It doesn't contain carbon, right? So you need to get the true biomass, the true measure of organic material in a living thing. You should really remove the water. So you have to kind of put your plants in an oven and heat them so that all the water evaporates. Because if you're measuring the mass of the water as well, that's not true biomass. Could you go through all the AS biology required practicals? What now? I can't do that tonight, no, Oliver, but I mean, you've got some good ones. You've got the root tip squash. You've got using a colorimeter with your Benedict's test. You've got a dissection, so you might do a heart dissection. You've got an enzyme practical where you change like the temperature or the pH. They're not that different to GCSE ones. But you've got to learn the required ones, right? Because they do come up on the exams. You've got an osmosis one with potatoes, pretty much the same as GCSE. And then you also do a beetroot one where you look at the permeability of the cell membrane and how much pigment leaks out of the beetroot. They're all pretty fun, actually. Sometimes the line is thick. Is it? I've not seen a question where it's thick. If it's thick, then what would I do? If it was thick, I'd probably go from the insides, to be honest. Should you pick A-level biology? I want to see what other people in the chat say to that, Ali. What are their opinions? Can any of you answer Ali's question? If you've just started A-level biology, you can give Ali an honest answer. I mean, I think you should. It's not an easy A-level. It is considered one of the most challenging A-levels because of the sheer amount of content, the amount of stuff you've got to learn. But then you've also got the added maths, the application, the practicals. So it is a difficult A-level, and it's actually one of the A-levels where the fewest proportion of students get A stars and A's. But if you enjoy it, if you're interested in it, then you're going to work for it, right? And obviously, if you want to go into something biology related, then it's going to be worth having. And it's always useful to look at unis and different courses and see what the entry requirements are. If you've already got an idea of what you want to do at uni, you can look to see whether you need biology or not, right? See, there you go. Kira says she absolutely loves A-level biology. It's so interesting. Can you do a detailed video on mitosis? Yeah, for sure, Diana. Yeah, if you guys, I don't know whether you guys have subscribed to the YouTube channel, but we are currently filming some longer videos for YouTube. So we've just posted one on amino acids, and I've just filmed one on the whole protein structure. So yeah, definitely, Diana, I'll make a note of it after this stream, and I will film a detailed video on mitosis just for you, and I will post it on YouTube. Because it is more detailed than GCSE, because you've got to know your phases. So do you remember this? If you're in year 12 or year 13, you've got to know the detail of all the phases, haven't you? So you have interphase, and then you've got prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And you've got to know exactly what is happening. Oh, and then you've obviously got cytokinesis. You've got to know exactly what's happening in all of those stages. Can you send me a link to one of your paid lessons? I think there's some old ones on YouTube on this channel, Saranshu. I think you can probably access, like, definitely the summer school ones are still on there. As I said, I've just posted like a 20-minute video on amino acids, and I'm sure there's some old lessons on there. And you can have a little look at some of those. Can you do a video relating ecology and energy transfers? So Chimwendu, do you mean like how energy is lost as you go like along the food chain? Is that what you mean? Like how energy is lost in like feces and as heat from respiration and stuff like that? In interphase, you've got G1, SG2. Yeah, Sammy, what exam board are you doing, just out of interest? Sammy, are you doing AQA or OCR? Because it's actually quite different. So from what you've just said in the chat, I'm assuming you're doing OCR. Oh, thanks, Kira. Guys, you need to like this video as well, because if you do want to do this like on a weekly basis, obviously we can kind of structure it a little bit better. Like what I could do for you is post some kind of poll. I don't know how it works. I'm not very techie, but the team at My Headspace can do some kind of questionnaire or poll type thing earlier in the week, and you guys can tell me what topic you want to do on a Friday. And then we can structure it a little bit more, and I can actually do you like a little mini lesson on a Friday if you want to. You're doing AQA. So Sammy, if you're doing AQA, you actually don't have to know about the different phases of interphase. It just sounds like your teacher is giving you a little bit more detail there than what you actually need. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you do some extra bits of spec. Yeah, potentially for extra. Yeah. Yeah, because you don't actually have to know that, do you? Can you send me a link to the September ones, please? I'll ask. I should be writing these things down, these requests, so I remember. I will ask Saranshu. I will see. Saranshu, maybe if you send a message, you could send a message to me on social media somehow and ask if you can get like a trial lesson to one of the September ones. If you just let me know what year group lesson you would like. You're more stressed about EPQ. Kira, do you know what you're going to be doing in your EPQ? Have you planned it? It's quite early to be starting that, isn't it? Or are you just stressing about it before you've even started it? That's why you're stressed. Kira, do something biology related, because you love biology, right? So you can definitely find, do a little bit of research, find out something current, some kind of current research into genetics or whatever field you're interested in. Exam questions are a continuous thing to do, but if you're in year 12, when would you start them? Oh, the sooner the better. Like when you're doing, I don't know, you're doing biological molecules or cells now, right? So as you're revising for that end of topic test, just get all the past paper questions that you can and just do all of them. Keep them, mark them, and then you can refer back to them at the end of year 12 for your end of year exam, and then at the end of year 13 for your A-level exams. I would just do them regularly, Diana, like for every little topic test in school, or whenever you finish a little topic, you can just download all of the past questions from that topic. Honestly, guys, the more past paper questions you do, the better, because you start to see patterns in the mark schemes, and you start to see that similar questions come up year on year, and the marking points are quite often pretty standard. So you can even start to kind of learn mark schemes, which I know is not how you should learn biology, but it's going to help you because they're so specific. That's the hardest thing about A-level biology, is the mark schemes, right? And making sure you're hitting the marking points. So the more questions you do and the more mark schemes you look at, the better. Are the old spec ones useful? Yeah, even the old spec. So before 2016, I think it was 2016, any papers that you access from pre-2016 are going to be the old specification. But like 80% of the content was kept the same. Like loads of it, there was just a few things that were taken off, a few things that were added on, but loads of those questions are still going to be useful. So definitely go back to old spec ones. Yeah, physics and maths tutor, yeah. It has all the past paper questions, doesn't it? And it has them by topic, and it has the mark schemes. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else got any advice for those of us that have just started year 12? PMT is going to be your best friend. Hopefully, Kira, my YouTube will be. As I say, we've only just started it over the last week, but we're going to try and use YouTube a lot more. So we're going to try and post regularly on there, like at least one like mini lesson each week, and then hopefully a live each week. So hopefully I will be able to help you, even if you're not on the main course yet, Kira. Has anyone else got any biology? Like, I'm wondering if there's been anything you've done so far this year that you've not really understood, that you feel like you want explaining again. Anyone got any more biology questions for me? You haven't done that well in the B6 test. Oh, so all your homeostasis stuff. Good. Yeah, you have the notifications on. Good. Conjugation. Sammy, you're confusing me. You've just told me that you do AQA. Conjugation is not on the AQA specification at all. You're talking about like conjugation in bacterial cells where they kind of transfer DNA from one bacterial cell to another, like horizontal transmission. That's not on the AQA spec. Oh, it's just extra stuff. You're loving it. You're learning like way more than you need to. Like the A-level's not hard enough. You just want more. Learn the long answer questions. So this is Chinwendu's advice here, guys. Chinwendu's in year 13. Learn the long answer questions like the structure of proteins, tissue fluid formation. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I would say if you are in year 12, so year 13 biology is a big step up from year 12. And when we do year 13, we do some really complex processes. And if your year 12 knowledge is not solid, you're really going to struggle. Okay. So, like, year 12 is all about building your foundations. Yeah. We do biological molecules, we do cells. So, you've got the foundations. So, when we go into year 13, you can understand all the complex processes. So, your year 12 has got to be solid. So, yeah, like Chinwendu said, doing as many year 12 questions now, making sure, especially like the 5 or 6 markers, like you've got those down. You know, those, I always call them biology stories. It's like you're telling a story for 6 marks, like DNA replication, protein synthesis, meiosis, mitosis, all of those stories, make sure that you've learned them. Hi, Fahim. Standard deviation. Oh, how to use those. Yeah, so standard deviation. Yeah. So in biology, we just say it's the spread of data around the mean. And when we're using it in biology, often we're looking to see if standard deviations overlap, aren't we, Diana? Because if you've got like 2 sets of results and you've calculated the mean and the means appear different, but if the standard deviations overlap, then we say the difference is not significant. Have you done that yet, Diana? So that's the main gist, really. If the standard deviations overlap, the difference is not significant. If the standard deviations don't overlap, then the difference is significant. That's basically what we use it for in biology. It's probably different in maths and stuff, but that's where we apply it in biology. How to get a grade 9. You really want a grade 9. Oh, it is. It's hard. It's just hard work. Saranshu, it's just lots of revision. When I was doing my GCSEs, I made like really thorough notes myself. I would advise you against just reading through someone else's notes. So there's a lot of people online that just sell like a full set of notes, and some students that I've taught in the past would buy them, read them, and think, oh great, I've done my revision now because I've read these notes. But because someone else wrote them and you've just read them, you're not going to remember it. You have to make your own notes, yeah, in a way that suits you, like a little mind map or bullet points, or a mixture of diagrams and text and stuff. You have to make your own notes, condense it down. Don't just copy out a textbook. Condense notes, read them through, condense them again into flashcards or something, and then try as many questions as you can. And start revising early. Don't leave it till like the week before the GCSE, Saranshu, which I'm sure you won't because you seem really studious. Do you think Cornell notebooks? What's a Cornell notebook, Kira? I don't know what that is. Fahim says A-level biology is hard. Yeah, it's quite a big step up from GCSE. But if you stick with it, Fahim, keep working hard. I'm sure you'll be able to do it, Fahim. Fahim, how did you do in your GCSE biology? Could you please make a video on biology 6 markers? So goodness, if you are on my Laura Does Biology TikTok, I've done quite a lot of 6 markers. So I know for sure I've done like the whole of DNA replication. I've done the whole transcription, translation. I've done the whole protein structure. I've done the whole like transport across cell membranes because I love a 6 mark question because it is like a story. So I have done loads, but we will be posting more and more questions on TikTok. And as I said, on YouTube as well, we're going to post more and more to help you guys. You get so confused with the p-value. Oh, okay. So more statistics. Basically, Chinwendu, for something to be statistically significant, we have to have less than 5% probability that it occurred by chance. So if you see this value, Chinwendu, in an exam, what that is telling you is the probability that the difference occurred by chance is 5%. That's what that means. The probability is 5%. Probability is 0.05 or 5%. Now, if the probability of that occurring is 5% down to chance, that is not significant. It has to be less than 5%. So if you saw this, yeah, basically any number less than 0.05, then you're saying the probability of it occurring by chance is less than 5%, therefore it is significant. So if you've got like 2 means and the means look different, but you're not really sure if it's significant, you can do your statistical test. It will give you your value, your probability value. And if the probability is less than 5%, then it is a significant difference. If the probability is like, that's telling you that it's 10% probability it occurred by chance, that is not significant. Okay. We are going to have, Chinwendu, I know you're on my year 13 course, we are going to have a lesson on statistics. So don't worry, we will go through it. GCSE feels like a long time ago. Yes, I understand. It's totally different once you're doing year 13, especially. How to explain it? If you Google, it's like different sections on the book for like questions down the side. Cornell. I'll have a little look, Kira. Oh, you're in my year 11 biology class. Oh, hey, Fahim. That class is big. There's loads of you in that class. Kira, I've got so many textbooks, but Cornell doesn't ring a bell. I wonder if I've got, I'm just going to look in my cupboard and I'm going to show you what was my favorite A-level textbook. Like I've got a cupboard full of them just next to me. But I've probably got my favorite somewhere. Yeah, it was these ones. These ones were my faves. Can you see that? Who's that by? Glenn Toole and Susan Toole. Do you know, interesting fact. So Susan Toole, she was actually my mentor when I did my teacher training. So I did my teacher training, it was a long time ago, but it was at a school not far from Manchester. And she was head of biology at that school. And she was my like academic mentor when I did my teacher training. And I'm guessing Glenn is her husband. So they wrote the books. Yeah, those ones, those are my faves. Or you can get like, these are the separate ones, right? But you can get the big fat one that has AS and A2 in one book. And then I also do use the CGP revision guides because they're quite condensed, like they're not very detailed. So you'd still need to make sure you were doing lots of past paper questions and stuff. But the CGP ones are good for condensed notes. But as I said, you can't be making your own notes, yeah, from like your lessons. Oh, it's not a textbook. Oh, I'm confused then. Is it some kind of fancy notepad? Oh, it's a note-taking technique. Oh, see, I've not heard of this. Oh, yes. Hi, Fatima. Yes, I do remember you. Didn't I give you a, weren't you the one that was asking for a shout out when we did? Do you remember when I like made a little cameo appearance in Sean's webinar? Yeah. Yeah, that was you. I remember. How are you doing? Pretty much it's good. We have oh, okay. Yeah, Saranshu, of course. Give you a shout out. Fab student. Yeah, okay, Kira. I'd give it a go. There's no harm in giving it a go and then see. And then if you don't like it, you can always go back to just whatever you're used to doing or what you did for GCSE, right? I'm good, thank you, Fatima. Thanks for asking. Yeah, we were just saying, I don't know if you've just joined Fatima, but we're probably going to do these lives or try and do these lives once a week, maybe every Friday. Um, and yeah, it's up to you guys what you want to use them for. So you can let me know. I'll make sure we get something out on social media where you can kind of let me know if there's a particular topic that you want to go over each week, or whether you just want to have a catch up just so we can support each other and just let each other know how we've been getting on during the week, just kind of like Q&A style. But yeah, we'll do them regularly. What percentage do you need to get an A star? So it varies slightly year on year, but it's probably going to be around 68%. I'm trying to think what this year the grade boundaries were higher than they've ever been, but 68 to 70%, something like that, I would say. Which exam board is harder for GCSE? They're pretty similar, you know. I know which one I think is harder for A level for sure. I don't think I should say that though. For GCSE, ooh, I'd say content wise, they're pretty similar. Sometimes the AQA mark schemes can be a little bit stricter, I suppose. Have you ever thought about making booklets with exam questions or like ones based on the practicals? Yeah, I suppose it's just having the time to do everything. But yeah, like we we've thought about making like study notes for you guys, and we kind of are in the process of like brainstorming things and thinking about what things we could give away for free. So my advice would just be make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube, that you're following me on TikTok, because then anything that we do give away, you guys will be able to get. Because we do have like a bank of resources that we use in our main course that we could definitely give away, um, or give parts of it away for you guys to do at home. Any good memorization tips? Fatima, the one that worked for me, and I don't know whether this is for everybody, but once I'd made my notes, I'd read them, and then I would say them out loud until I had memorized it. So I mean, I'll show you, like, I'd write down like all the detail of photosynthesis, and then when I thought I'd memorized it, I'd put the notes down, look the other way, and I would speak them out loud. And then anytime I got stuck, I'd look back at my notes and then I'd start again and I'd speak them out loud. And I would keep doing it until I could say everything on that page out loud without looking at my notes. And then I knew it would stick. If I could say it, it's weird, isn't it? It's like I was teaching someone else, I suppose. Maybe that's why like I was always destined to be a teacher. But once I could say it out loud, like from memory, it had stuck in my brain. That was how I did it. My parents probably thought I was mad because I'd just be in my bedroom, like, let me tell you about respiration. And then I'd be saying the whole thing out loud. I found it better to speak it rather than write it, I think. Which exam board is harder for A level? Personally, this is my personal opinion, but everybody is different. I think OCR. And the reason I think that is because there's a lot more content on OCR. Like there's whole extra topics on OCR. But then even the topics that are the same, there's like little extra bits on OCR. There just seems to be always extra on OCR. So personally, I prefer AQA because I'd rather learn less content. But then the flip side of that is you've got to write an essay. Now, I'm fine with writing an essay because if you do your revision and you've got good knowledge, you can all write an essay. So I'd rather write an essay on stuff I already know than learn loads more content. Yeah, multiple choice questions. So OCR do have multiple choice questions for GCSE and A-level, but they are hard. Like when I used to teach OCR, I'd look at the questions and sometimes I'd be thinking, this is almost impossible because they try and trick you so much that sometimes it can seem like all four answers are correct. And it's just a little trick that you've got to notice to spot which one is actually correct. And sometimes they are all correct. They just want you to pick the best answer, which makes them really difficult. The multiple choice questions are not easy. It's not a reason to do OCR. Yeah, of course it is, Fatima. But yeah, everybody's different. Some people prefer the multiple choice. They really don't want to write an essay at A-level. Some people would rather learn more content. So it swings and roundabouts. And the grade boundaries are pretty similar. So the difficulty level must end up being roughly the same because the grade boundaries, if you look every year, there's only like 1% in it usually, which kind of tells you they're about the same level of difficulty. You do the MES lessons and with biology twice a week and go over on a Saturday. Yeah, I mean, that's good. So you've got your lessons in school, then you've got the MES lessons and you're doing your own revision. That sounds amazing, Fatima. That sounds really amazing, especially because we are only in September. So you might want to ramp it up a little bit, like, you know, from Easter onwards. But considering it's the start of the year, that's amazing. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to have to go because I was only supposed to stay here for half an hour and we've been on for 42 minutes. It's been nice just having a little chat with you all, to be honest, and seeing some names in the chat that I've not seen before or that I've not seen since summer school. Um, but yeah, I'm sure you've all got other things you want to be doing with your Friday evening. But I've loved talking to you all. As I say, keep your eyes peeled because hopefully we're going to do these lives every week and we are going to try and help you guys with free stuff on YouTube and more questions as always on TikTok. Yeah, it's been good to have a little catch up, Kira. I'm glad you're finding year 12 okay. I was a little bit worried that I'd come on here tonight and you'd all just bombard me with questions like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. But actually you seem pretty chilled. It was more the year 13s. It was more Chinwendu that was actually asking me some questions. Mark recapture release. See, Chinwendu's there with a question. I've just spotted it. You've got to make sure that you allow enough time, Chinwendu, for the animals to mix fully with the rest of the population again. So you've got to leave enough time before you do your second capture. You've got to make sure the mark that you have used does not rub off or doesn't make them more visible to predators. Is that what you mean? Is that what you're asking me about? Yeah, there's about 4 or 5, I think, Chinwendu. The problem with it is, I think, if I'm remembering rightly, people mix it up with Hardy Weinberg. Have you done Hardy Weinberg yet? Because there's also a list of assumptions there which are very, very similar. You've got to go. You've got guests downstairs. I won't keep you. I've got to go as well. I've got to go and clean my front room because it's an absolute tip. Looks like a bomb's hit it. Yeah, no immigration or emigration out of the population or deaths. Chinwendu, no deaths as well. Okay, right, guys. Lovely to see you. Is Cognito good? I don't know. I don't think I've been on Cognito. Yes, have a lovely weekend. Hopefully I'll see some of you again next week. Yeah, and keep up the good work. Oh, thanks, Mara. Yeah, it's been lovely. Fatima says it's amazing, Cognito. I'll have to have a look. Yeah, see you on Monday if you're in my year 12 or year 11. See you on Tuesday if you're in my year 13. And you've all got monthly assessments to do as well. If you are on the MES course already, then you should have a monthly assessment to do this weekend. Any weekend plans? It's going to be a chilled one. It's going to be a chilled one. I had a Sunday last time. Oh, was that when I went out for dinner? Yeah, my daughter is in year 6 and she'd just done the 11 plus. I don't know if any of you guys did the 11 plus, but we went out for dinner like to celebrate her doing the 11 plus, and I ordered like a banoffee waffle and it was like as big as my head. It was absolutely massive. I only ate half of it. It was nice though. Right, guys, enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. And I'll see you all next time. Thanks for joining me tonight. Bye.